Hello and welcome to another Notes in Spanish video. Marina, ¿qué tal?
Muy bien, Ben, ¿cómo estás tú?
Pues mira, en el campo, tan contento. Where are we, Marina?
Pues estamos perdidos en un caminito cerca del Escorial.
Campo Profundo. We've got a great question to answer today. In fact, we've got questions from 3 different people, but which all cover the same topic. So we're going to look at that first, speaking in English, and then at the end we'll have a bit of Spanish to see if our videos helped, because this is all about understanding spoken Spanish. So the first questioner is Mark, who says, how can you start to decipher words from the rapid language blur that is spoken Spanish when you're first exposed to it? Marina, who's next?
Next is Diane, who says, aunque ahora puedo leer y escribir bastante bien, todavía me cuesta mucho entender lo que la gente me dice.
So she says she can read and write very well, or quite well, but it's still quite hard for her to understand what people are saying. And finally, Mel says, I really struggle to get what people are saying. I can put a sort of sentence together which makes me sound like I know what I'm doing, and when the response comes, I only pick up half or even less. I hear words and I know what they mean, but putting them all together to get the full meaning is still evading me after years of learning and practice. Is there a way of getting past this, or is it just a case of carrying on? To be honest, it's embarrassing. Standing there like an idiot saying, no entiendo, puedes hablar más despacio, or ¿qué? Now, I really like the last part of Mel's question, and that's what Marina was going to address first. Embarrassment.
First is don't be embarrassed. Kids, when they learn to speak, make lots of mistakes, and you only learn making mistakes, and you have to have the kid approach of making as many as possible and don't be embarrassed, because they are a very good way to learn.
When I remember when our kids were sort of 2 or 3, you'd say things to them and they'd say, ¿qué? Or what? And it's fine, you know, they have to ask all the time. So be embarrassed, be like a kid. It doesn't matter at all. Okay, I wanted to tell you about the experience I had of the rapid language blur of not understanding anything, which was always at lunch parties or dinner parties with Marina's family initially, and then with her friends. And I found that there were kind of 3 stages to the process. The first was in the early dinner parties when my Spanish wasn't so good. I would sit there without saying a word because I couldn't understand anything. Then there'd be a next stage where I started to understand what everyone was saying after a few months maybe, and I wanted to reply, but I couldn't get a word in edgeways because by the time I'd worked out how to reply, they'd moved on to the next subject. And finally I'd be able to reply, and I was so pleased with myself that I then discovered they'd moved on to the next subject, and I was completely lost again. And finally, after a long time, I could listen, reply, and have pretty much normal conversation. But it's like that, it's a slow process, and really what Mel said, yeah, it is just a case of carrying on. But there are a few more things we wanted to say, no? About context, for example.
Yes, context helps you to understand. So if you know they are talking about the food or that you are having, or the film you just saw, or a certain book, that can help you to more or less guess the general meaning of the conversation.
We have a friend who is South African, who works in a Spanish school, and she has to go to teachers' meetings once a week, and her Spanish is kind of getting up to around the intermediate level, and she says the teachers' meetings are a nightmare because all the teachers are speaking full-on Spanish super fast. But she did say to us, which I thought was very interesting, but at least I've got the context, which is helping a lot. She knows what they're talking about,
The
school
kids
stuff, the kids
about,
and so
yeah.
on. But you know, generally the context isn't too difficult to get. So, context, patience, carry on, embarrassment, doesn't matter at all. Language learning is all about embarrassment, whether you're listening or speaking.
You have to have a laugh with your own mistakes.
Gotta have a laugh. Who cares? Who cares? It's meant to be fun. Listen to as many Notes in Spanish podcasts as you can, and use our worksheets because that will help tune your ear. And just patience, and it'll come. It'll come. Remember our video a few weeks ago about how Spanish learning's like that? You go up, you stay on the plateau, you go up. Same thing. So, mucho ánimo, ¿no?
Mucho ánimo a los 3 y a todos los demás.
Bueno, now we're going to switch and have a little bit of Spanish.
Hola de nuevo, estamos en un restaurante que está en las montañas que hay por encima del Escorial, se llama La Horizontal y estamos tomando el menú del día. Y de segundo tenemos hoy arroz negro. Es como una paella, pero está hecha con tinta de calamar y por eso tiene este color. I hope you like today's video. Come and find us at notesinsspanish.com.